And I just want to add too, you're in the room, you're in the EOC most of the time. You were hanging out there and being part of the team and being part of decisions, and there was others as well from other nations, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the EOCs need to make that extra effort to have an Indigenous representative in EOC to ask those tough questions.
Yeah.
Right? And if they can't answer those tough questions, they know somebody who can answer those tough questions, right?
Yeah.
And it makes things stream. Like we were able to make some snap decisions
We sure were.
real fast.
And they had to be snap decisions. That was the other part. It was like, sometimes they do have to be quick. And it was
Imagine if
wonderful.
you were doing that, trying to get a phone call and what if you were in a community that doesn't have a relationship with that First Nations communities?
Right.
Right now you're sending an email, you're making phone calls, trying to get the right person, right? That's why I think like they're pre-planning the engagements between local authorities and the First Nations people is the most important. And we're very lucky in the Cariboo here to have such a strong relationship with each other.
Yeah.
That we can have those conversations and not be scared to have those tough conversations with each other too.
There is there's bitter honesty in some of those times, right? It's bringing up things that are not fun to talk about sometimes, right? But we have those conversations because they're important conversations to have.
Exactly.
Right? You know, colonial-based governments during emergencies, they'll prioritize things like life, infrastructure, responder safety. What are the priorities in Indigenous communities and for First Nations?
You know, I think life is always number one for everybody, right? But, I heard a chief this summer, he actually said, well, sometimes we have to put the life over everything else. But you know what? Infrastructure can be rebuilt, right? Land can't, right? If we don't take care of the land, it don't come back, or it comes back in a long time. Right, and we've seen that throughout the Cariboo with massive fires that have gone through, and the recovery time for that land to come back is not fast.
No.
Those animals don't come back to the area because there's no food. Right now, those people can't hunt because there's no animals, so it's a vicious cycle. Right, so I think land has to be a priority in that list, right? Life is obviously number one, right? But we can always rebuild houses, we can always rebuild community centers, we can always rebuild buildings, but we can't rebuild forestry and we can't rebuild lost life. And when you come to communities like ours out west, where they rely on a lot of their hunting and their berry picking, we have to keep that in consideration when we're thinking about doing backburns, when we're thinking about, how we direct the fire, Are we going to direct the fire into an open field, or are we going to direct it up the side of a mountain? You know what I mean? Those are decisions that you have to make, right? So that would be my answer on that one. Like, we have to remember the land and the animals.